Okay, I'd like to call to order the November 18th Fire District Board meeting. Would you all please silence your cell phones and put them away for the duration of the meeting? Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the Secretary please call the roll?
Absolutely. Aldrich?
Here.
Beckman?
Here.
Fox?
Here.
Verplank?
Here.
Phelps?
Here.
Meridian?
Here.
And Miller?
Here.
We have approval of the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it stands. I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Are there any additions or deletions?
Request respectfully to add correspondence regarding Lake Shore Drive under 13A and strike none. And Emmett McGar, correspondence, please.
Are there any other changes? Okay. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? Do we have approval of the minutes of the October 21st board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Meridian and a second by Miller to approve the minutes of the October 21st meeting. Are there any comments, discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? Okay, now we have public comment on agenda items only. Is there any public comment? Please state your name, where you're from, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Any comments? No comments. Moving on, we have a special tribute presentation from State Representative Mary Whiteford.
I'm not seeing Mary right now. So may we're just messing with you, Aaron.
Kind of a problem.
So,
Well, maybe we should push on and...
we could revisit that back, okay? Because you got dressed up for something, so.
Well, it's a big day for...
Yeah, I didn't put on lipstick for nothing.
Yeah, really. Aaron comes with lipstick, wow. All right, we'll move on and we'll go back to Mary when she gets here. Can we have a request for payments, please?
Make a motion to make the payments of $69,699.38.
One second.
I have a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $69,699.38. And a second. Is there any discussion? I have a question.
I got through Kathy and
I was going to say, where's Kathy?
I don't have it.
Wow.
Here you go.
No. The $1,800 for training, and there's 2 of those in here.
Right, we're hosting a fire inspectors class, and there are 3 checks there, Marty Myers, Ron Farr, and, which one?
There's 2 of
And
them.
there's 3 payments,
3,
fire
yeah.
inspector training, Marty Myers is one of them.
Yeah.
They're each teaching portions of the 2-week class, so the fee is based up between 3 instructors. And Marty gets $1,800, and then Ron Farr and one other one.
Shadow fire consultant, the one guy has an LLC of
Shadow.
900.
Okay, so this,
That's just
do
for
people
Marty.
pay to take these classes, or who's paying the
yes.
$1,800? We are?
We're paying for a portion of it because we have our people enrolled in it.
Okay.
And then the rest of the attendees will pay.
Any other questions? thought we were being very nice to pay these people all this money, so. All right, can we have a roll call vote to approve the payments for this month?
Yes, ma'am. Phelps,
Yes.
Meridian,
Yes.
Aldrich,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Ruble,
Yes.
and Miller.
Yes.
Okay, Peter, can we have a financial report?
Okay, in the packet is was the standard financial reports that we given in the past, and at the last board meeting, I think it was Eric asked if we could have a column where it says the previous year, so the page I just handed out to everybody. Okay, well, yeah, and the far right column is the new column, it says previous year percentage of the budget used. So that's what, a year ago, that's where we were at. So I don't know if that works, or there's other options too, so, but if that one's fine, that's how it'll look from now on, it's just so basically,
And this is just so we can get a
comparison from a year ago, you know,
See trending,
yeah, so I mean, the revenue is hard to tell because, you know, basically, the majority of our revenue comes from the winter tax bills, which we don't have any right now. But you can see the expenses, you know, the board salary, because I haven't done the payroll for the month of October yet, that's why it's kind of offset there. Like chief salary is pretty close, you know, it could be just one of two payrolls difference, but, you know, it was 40% a year ago, right now it's at 37, but, you know, the payroll, the fire calls, that one you should, you know, if something starts to get out of line. Some of the other ones are difficult to tell, because if we buy some of the supplies, we buy once or twice a year, so I don't know if anybody has any particular questions, any line items.
So that's from, at this point last year, right?
Yes.
Not the entire,
It
well,
just-
looks like we're doing.
Well, this would be, I believe this far right column would be pulling as of November 30th of
Okay.
2018.
That's really useful, actually.
I think so too.
Okay.
Is that your idea?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say, thank you.
I had a really dumb, I don't know about dumb, but interest on here. You know, I look at the percent budget used all the time, and of course, in the case of revenue, it means we're ahead of the game, right? If I'm
Right,
So that's
we're ahead of the game.
181% ahead, so
Yes.
does that mean
We're
our
60.
investments are that great, or
Well,
why do we
we
get
have a
such
lot-
great interest?
Well, they're up, and we've accrued the last couple of years. I think we've been putting an extra 50 grand a year into our fund balance for the capital
Okay.
improvement. So there's 100 grand plus there, so it's added up over the last few years, and
Okay, because last year was 500% over, so we're doing well.
yeah, we're doing a lot better, and we improved.
But why do we budget so little then? I mean,
Because I never banked on it, so we never put a budget on it.
Okay, got
So
it.
it's been $3,600 as of today, where we originally budgeted $2, so.
Okay.
The only question I have looking at this quickly is the general insurance line on the back,
Yeah, see, that's, okay, I mean,
where we're 60% compared to 27%.
well, because last year we had a large, like rebate dividend check back from the insurance company payback, where this year it was nowhere near as large. We always budget like $23,000 roughly for the insurance, so in the last 2 years, we haven't spent anywhere near that. I mean, it's been, one year was almost nothing, but because of these paybacks and these dividend checks that we get from the insurance company. But now we're getting back, like they, to close to reality. They must have had some financial good times, and now we're to the point where we're getting back to, I guess, reality of what the insurance is really costing us.
No, the insurance is a pool, and there's a net asset refund if we don't use up that money. First $50,000 is capped with the state of Michigan, the rest of it is the pool of participants in the MMRMA program. So the less that's used, you get that money back in a net asset refund.
Any other questions about the financial report? Okay, now we'll go back to item 8, special tribute presentation from State Representative Mary Whitford.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I am Kevin Whiteford, and if anybody knows my wife, she had foot surgery last week. and she wanted to get in the car and come out here. And we're talking like 4 or 5 days ago, and and their foot is 12 screws and a metal plate.
She's not
And
walking
I
on
said,
that.
Mary, you can't even, no, you can't even get out of the house. You're going back in there. And so I am here on her behalf to give this tribute to you, Erin Wilkinson, right? So I'll read it to you. And again, if you know my wife, she does these things, and she actually writes them and does them herself. So this is what she said. Let it be known that it is with great pleasure that we join colleagues, family, and friends in honoring Erin Wilkinson for her outstanding years of service for the cities of Saugatuck, Douglas, and Saugatuck Township. On this occasion, it is most appropriate to offer this expression of gratitude for the hard work, dedication, and passion Erin has put forth for her community and its residents. Erin is the exemplary definition of public servant. She tirelessly works on behalf of members of the community. Her skills and attention to detail allow her to help make moments funny and serious, something special for everyone. Whether she is creating a video, organizing a fundraiser, or creating a community celebration, she strives for the best. Erin is one of those people who make a community sparkle. She has gone above and beyond the call of duty without expecting anything in return. We applaud the commitment she consistently displays and are sincerely grateful for the manner in which the community benefits from her endless hard work. In special tribute, therefore, this document is signed and dedicated to express our sincere gratitude to Erin Wilkinson. May she know that all her efforts for the community do not go unnoticed. Signed by Mary Whiteford, State Representative, Eric Nesbitt, the State Senator, Garland, the Lieutenant Governor, and Gretchen, the Governor. Way to go, Erin. There you go. Uh-oh.
Gotta let Dad get a sticker too.
So someone send one to Mary. Yeah.
Please tell her how she feels
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank
So Erin, do you have a few words, or?
I did not plan a speech, but I will just say the fire department is a family, and I'm really grateful to be invited into and accepted in the family, and I really appreciate this recognition. It's really touching. Thank you very much, everybody.
So if you came for Erin,
You know.
you can go. Or you can stay.
We won't be offended.
Yeah. Or you can stay for this fascinating fire board meeting, so choose your pick.
Definitely never offended.
Yep, and Erin's, I want to say Erin's always there with an Excel spreadsheet to carry forth the mission of always keeping this community on its toes, and I want to thank her personally for all the work she does on Glow in the Park, the parade, and every other fundraiser she's involved in. She went way above and beyond the call of duty for her most recent fundraiser, and Erin pulled the community together at a difficult time where everybody said they wanted to do something to help, but they didn't know what to do to help. So Erin got them all busy doing something really good to help, and we appreciate that, Erin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, We'll continue on with the meeting. Item 10, Fire Chief comments.
All right, welcome everyone. We'll go through these slides briefly. On incident reports, you can see we finished at 81 calls under 2017, certainly over 2018. We're going to stick to just a couple of slides here, 3 or 4 slides. We'll go through that one, Eric. What's important to know is 2019, the percentage of change, we're up about 4%. And for the audience members and the fire board, it seems like every month we're up 3 to 5%. So you can see we're up 33 calls from the same date last year, which is about 4%. Certainly climbing up on calls. I think the other significant slide, where you'll see a percentage of increases, which is almost 5%, is motor vehicle incidents. If we could jump to that, Eric. Oh, sorry. You get good IT directors.
Need Aaron to straighten him out.
Oh, I doubt that. He's got probably a lot better computer skills than I have.
Back.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. Got it. So we're at 67 calls as of October 31st, 2019. So we're up about 4.7%. Extrication is up as well. And you can see that, I beg your pardon, extrication isn't up. It's about 4.5% of our calls. So this is a trend that's occurred for the last 5 years that keeps climbing. While we had a bad snow, everyone was off the road. So we didn't see the activity we anticipated. We've had more activity with 1 or 2 inches of snow. So I expect that to be a record year by the end of December 31st. So we just want to make you aware that motor vehicle incidents are a huge component of our response.
Have many of them been hybrids?
Not yet. We're waiting for that, not yet.
Because you just had one with the Tesla, that was real difficult.
Right. The whole lithium batteries coming into lithium-ion batteries are becoming a source of issues. How about that special one that I think one of our board members asked for? It was a new slide crafted. I don't mean to be jumping around, but so it was one, Eric.
Yeah, this is the usual one where we
Right.
just list the number of special events.
I think the slide is special event personnel hours,
Yeah.
which I think Dan asked for. That, you know, would certainly show the quantity of hours in perspective to previous years. This is a new slide, so history is not extensive.
Trends in the right direction.
So, hope that helps. Okay. And I think that's it. Pretty much everything is pretty well typical. One thing I noticed was medical calls were really low in comparison because of the diversity of the calls that we have. So that's something that was really an interesting thing to watch. But everything else is in order. Just wanted to share that with you.
Do these get sent to municipalities?
Yes.
I thought I've seen a copy, but I don't always see it, so I'm not sure if it was...
Actually, in some of them, like with township, you know, Stacy usually presents it, so she gets it twice. She gets it up to date at that time of her board meeting, and we do share it with the managers. Okay, next up, I wanted to share with you, thank you, Eric. Oh, I know one thing we can get to. Do you have the slide for the cost recovery? Why don't we just get that out of the way since we're looking at the screen. There were 2 things the board asked me about were grants, which you had last month, and now the cost recovery. You've got about $19,600 in received. Shared means we did it with another department, you can see shared of about $2,500. I have the best cost recovery team composed of John, right here in the corner, and Eric. We did have an appeal, number 13, that's number 13. A gas line hit by a contractor. He reached out to us and said, look, the job didn't really warrant this kind of an expense. He had a gas line with no misdig. That's illegal activity. I pretty much have to bill for illegal activity. We had to evacuate half of Mason Street. So we talked to it. Eric met with him, John, myself, and we negotiated down and got a settlement of $409 out of it.
What's the number 14?
Number 14 was a semi that caught on fire because of a malfunction. It was a brake that wasn't maintained. And we just received that payment. So we just...
Insurance company then, or?
In this case, this gentleman wrote the check himself. He was just happy we saved his truck because we confined the fire he did by himself. John restricted the fire to the axle, and the driver separated the tractor from the trailer, saving the load. He knocked it down right away. He was on duty. And I just came up there and just waved my wand. And it was so we just want you to know that this is one of the most difficult things to administer, and that these guys do an exceptional job. We discuss it, and we feel when it's appropriate, there's a bill imposed. So the taxpayers aren't paying for illegal activity. So that was to be shared with you. Questions on that? Great. All right. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Community risk reduction. Unfortunately, we've had 7 deaths in the state of Michigan since last month. We're up to 75 fatalities, which is really hard to swallow. We're continuously working on that. Some of you know that I'm on the My Prevention program, along with Chris Mannels. I'm also one of the 7 members of the State Firefighter Training Council, responsible for 40,000 firefighters for their training. During a Firefighter Training Council meeting, there were 3 of us recognized for our work, 2 other fire marshals and myself. Real honor to be recognized and singled out by State Fire Marshal. I was really honored, and it was primarily for my work, our work with the Live Fire Training Center and educating people on sprinklers. So, a real honor for me. Next up is we have 2 recognition, 10 best recognition events. Brett Grondike is our EMS instructor, recognized as one of the most profound instructors in the state of Michigan. And then Chris Mannels, who ironically is not an EMS instructor, but because of Chris's work on the Medical Control Board, there's been huge advancements in Allen County. We led the way on blood glucose. We led the way on many things. Part of that is having representation on the Medical Control Board. Chris is that voice. So way to go, Chris.
Yeah.
Grant updates, we're working on the bid process with FEMA to obtain the final payout for the radios and the headsets in the grant, which is there. We got $123,000 plus for FEMA grant, and we're really happy about that. That concludes my chief comments.
Okay. Moving on, item 11, unfinished business, an ISO update.
Just wanted to brief the board on where we're at. I received a call from Steve Bishop, who's the Friesen Vandenbrink engineer for the whole district infrastructure. He was asked to contact me to find out what ISO was missing with regards to information for the survey. The survey has been held up. It has not been processed because there's no flow testing. Steve Bishop asked me, well, what do I need to do? I said we should reach out to Nate Johnson directly. The water supply ISO contact is Lieutenant Bernhardy. They worked it out. Steve Bishop contacted Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson contacted Lieutenant Bernhardy, and the results of that conversation are here. In Mr. Johnson's opinion, he feels that a lot of the community people don't understand the benefits of ISO. He is very frustrated. We have not gotten the survey. He's referring the whole case over to his supervisor. That's why we had to not have an ISO survey.
Has that been furnished to Kelly? I mean, has this
This is
communication?
not going, no.
Should we do that or not?
Sure.
I mean,
We probably should do that in a motion.
So you want me to request a motion?
No. But I don't know if I have that, I don't think I have that.
Here.
I have a motion, do other people have this? I have a
It should have been on
motion,
numbers.
It was.
to refer this to Cal Lake. To send this on to Cal Lake,
The
correct?
November 7th memo
Yes.
from Lieutenant Bernhardy to Greg Janik to forward it to
for information
Cal Lake Sewer
and
Water Authority.
action, suggestion.
Through the chair, it might be a good idea to include in your motion to do this through the chair, Mark Beckton. Or send it to Mark Beckton as well. Can I have a motion, please?
And I so move, or do we have to go back to
I think Chris needs a motion to,
Okay, I'll make a motion that we officially convey to the Cal Lake Board the information from the ISO dated the 7th of November, 2019, for both information and their appropriate action response.
is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Fox and a second by Meridian to, Chris, why don't you read what you have for the motion?
Sure. Motion by Fox, second by Meridian, to send the November 7th, 2019 ISO memo to the KLSWA Board for information and appropriate response.
I would say action.
Appropriate action?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
the action being to do the damn flow testing.
okay.
With a copy to Mark Beckton, right?
Yeah, and please with a copy of Mark Beckton.
I had it to their whole board, but would you rather have it to Daryl and copy the board chair?
Full board.
The whole board? Not
Full
my
board.
motion.
Sorry,
All right.
Was thinking
Amended
listening.
to include the full board, that it goes to the full board by name.
All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Or is there, wait a minute, sorry, is there a discussion? Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say
Sorry, I
yes.
do have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you remind me, what is the implication or consequence of not getting this flow information?
The consequences are the ISO survey achieves a point balance, and you need points to be able to get into a classification rating that's in the 4s, 5s, 6s. The higher it is, the worse it is for us in the form of insurance premiums. Out of the water supply portion of the survey, there's only 7 points possible. We're only getting 3 because there is no flow testing. Now what we're getting is, you don't have an engineering firm flow test 525 hydrants. So, kind of the position we hear is, well, we don't have to flow test every hydrant. Police of Vanderbrink says, well, we never flow test every hydrant. That's because normally somebody else does that, unless you don't want the points. If the community doesn't want the points, which I would find hard to believe, then you don't have to flow test the hydrants. So we've been after this since June. It's made very clear to everybody here. And we have asked, and Police in Vandenbrink does a 5-year study that tests maybe 12 to 15 hydrants. That is not what they asked for. They asked for hydrant flow testing on all hydrants on a 3-year cycle, and we can't get that because it doesn't exist. So what we got in response to that was the annual maintenance inspections that shows that the hydrant was flowed, but it doesn't show flow testing where there's 3 measurements, static flow, pitot readings. So there's a difference there, and we don't know what's happening. Ultimately, in our opinion, according to, and my lieutenant's opinion, is this is responsible of Cal Lake. Engineering firms don't flow test all the hydrants, so ISO says 2 people, 1 or 2 organizations do it. Either the water department does it or the fire department does it. Most people feel the water department should do it. Well, they don't do it for whatever reasons. If you want the credit, you have to test them. So we lost 4 out of 3 points. We call that very significant.
So the risk is higher insurance premiums.
It may have an impact, it may not. It depends on where, you know, we may have lost points on, we're not staffed 24 hours a day type thing. You know, we can't, we're held to a standard for full-time departments, but we aren't full-time. I.e., we have to respond within 2.5 minutes. We don't get the call for 4 minutes, but we're held to that standard. So we get penalized for that. So you grab the low-hanging fruit. What can you get? Flow testing, number 1, forget ISO, number 1, does the hydrant work? Does it flow water? That's what I want to know. Because more and more hydrant infrastructure is extended on the main, so water diminishes. You need 1,000 gallons per minute minimum to battle a house fire. If the house is up to 3,600 square feet, 3,600 square feet in Saugatuck is a minority, the bigger houses. So then it goes up. So how do you know the hydrant can flow if you don't flow it? And then you have, the last time they were flowed was 2011 by Brent Manos, one of our personnel. So that's where, I mean, it all depends on what you want. Seems to me the people deserve the best ISO rating they can get. And that's why we put such an emphasis on this. I took over in 2013, in 2 weeks I was audited by ISO. I was 1.5 points away from a 4. And we are shooting for as low as a ISO rating we can get for the taxpayers. This does not help us. And bigger, more than monetary, is the safety issue. And as it was, we tested 18 hydrants when ISO pulled us out of the office and said, stop what you're doing, I'm putting you in the field. All my 5 guys in the field, and we flow tested hydrants, 18 hydrants, and 9 of them had issues. They didn't drain, they weren't shut off, various things. So that's the problem we're having. We're not trying to get nitpicky here, but the hydrants are there for flushing and for fire protection. And there's some sort of distance between what the right maintenance is and what it's supposed to be and what's supposed to be doing, who's supposed to be doing it.
Thank you.
I think if I recall, those months ago, we all agreed that it shouldn't be the fire department doing it.
It shouldn't be the
Right
fire.
here at this board, we discussed that at
Right,
least.
right.
All agreed, if I, correct me if I'm wrong, but
You're right.
I think we did discuss it.
Any more questions for the ISO?
Okay, moving on to new business, cost.
Do we need to vote?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I interrupted that, sorry.
I'm sorry. I got lost. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Sorry. Moving on to new business, We covered the cost recovery spreadsheet?
We did, yes, ma'am.
Moving on to auto owners insurance dividend disbursement, I think we kind of touched on that.
Should be auto, accident fund, not auto owner, sorry.
So accident fund,
Accident fund, auto accident fund.
and that's what we covered in the,
It's just got a dividend reimbursement.
Yeah.
That's not the net asset refund. Totally
That's the
different.
workers' comp
Right.
insurance.
okay, all right, thank you. We have a funding approval request.
You'll see in your board packet, we had a setback with 2173, which is a Dodge pickup truck we purchased 2016. The truck box is failing, the company has gone out of business, the dealer will not support any more action on it, and the paint is coming off. We've reached out to a number of auto body shops to have it sandblasted, and the only one that was interested was Extreme Auto. I went back to him to see if he would honor the quote, and they will not. So they don't want to touch it. Their fear is the paint's going to come back to falling off in that condition within a year and a half to 2 years. So I'm coming to the board asking you to cut our losses, get rid of the box, and replace it. And that's what the funding approval form is.
I have quite a few questions,
Okay, go
since
ahead.
this is my bailiwick here.
Didn't use the right sandpaper.
That's right, you didn't, someone didn't prep it right. Just a couple questions is, have we reached out to our buddy, Mr. Haveman, at HME, that has done things on the side for us? Or should we? I guess I'm looking at Chris, because you remember he's done some painting for us in the past. This is a lot of money for a box. What is the integrity of the box? Is there holes in it? It's aluminum, so it's probably not rusting out.
It's corroding, and I guess I should have put it in there too. We've also had to replace almost every one of the door locks on it already since we got it. So I think the whole thing is just unfortunately poorly made. And it seems to be made at a time that the company was going bankrupt, so we got what was left sitting on their shelf shoved together, and we're kind of stuck with it now. But
Because I know plenty of places that do this every day of the week, that would refurbish these. There's a guy down in Elkhart, Indiana, that does all the ambulance boxes. That's his business. But if the thing is shot, holes through it,
I'd be
everything
more than
else.
happy to talk to, I have not talked to that HME guy for probably 2.5 years. Be happy to try that again, and any other one. We worked with body shops around here, and I just as recently as 2 weeks went, and everyone's just shaking their head at it.
Well, you could tell it wasn't prepped right.
Right.
What would
About
this have
that.
cost new? Because if we're throwing 12,500 away, and then it's 17 more, it's 27.5. What would this have cost if we hadn't gone with this Arista in the first place?
Typically, the box would be around 15,000, 17 because you got to replace the lights and things of that nature, and I think there's a contingency fund of $1,500 in there. So I'd say to answer your question, Kathy, it would be around 15,000.
Okay, so we're spending 20, it happened, but 27.5 altogether spending. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? If there's a way to do it cheaper, I'm okay with that.
How about this? Why don't I table this?
Yeah,
And why don't I reach out, I'll get with you, so I don't tie up the board and the audience. I'll get with you, and maybe you can give me a...
I can stop and see Phil tomorrow.
Okay. Would you like to drive the truck back?
No, I don't want to do that. I got a bunch of other places I gotta go. I can get there quick, can't I?
With the board's permission, maybe we could table this and see about it next month.
Yeah, I think we should table it.
Could I have a motion to table, please?
I'll make a motion to table the funding approval till next month.
I'll support that.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item D, Lake Shore Drive washout letter to homeowners about diminished fire and EMS protection.
When we met background, he asked me to orchestrate a meeting with the Lake Shore Fire Chiefs, South Haven, Ganges Township, Saugatuck, and Lake Town. And the meeting was to be with four chiefs to figure out a plan of action on the lake shore if we lose the road. And the meeting kind of grew into incorporate other people, which is fine. Chief Weiss of South Haven, the director of he's actually a director, he has prior experience with this and has that going on right now with a road. And he reached out to me with some other fire chiefs and said, you need to put this in writing, you need to let people know. I can't get a written guarantee from the Allegan County Road Commission or the engineer from Township that we can drive those fire trucks on that area, 2783 Lakeshore Drive. Based on that and legal opinion, the letter came to fruition. I reached out to Chief Weiss, who had drafted one. I drafted mine, sent it to him for review, and he said, great. I would also put in there, the lakeshore is constantly changing, so then it went to legal 5 o'clock Friday, and legal's writing on that ruling was it was appropriate and a good thing to do. So what have we done so that people don't think we're abandoning them? We are decommissioning a DNR pickup truck. And that pickup truck is for grass fires. It is not a fire truck. Obviously, it's a pickup truck versus an engine. So we're decommissioning that truck to load large diameter hose in it so that we can pump water to this truck as a distributor, like a manifold. And the crews would work off of this pickup truck. We have to load air packs on there. Axes, we're going to try to put whatever we can in this truck to get it across the suspect area. But as soon as I was denied written confirmation it's safe to drive on there, that changes everything for us. I can't take a 38,000-pound truck on a road that no one's going to tell me it's good enough. I'm not doing it. So we have been trying to figure this out. I met with my command staff and the entire department last Wednesday, and I had a lot of, we're not driving a truck across that. So if we lose that road, or if it becomes weaker, our plan of action is to take that pickup truck and lay from south of the area, which is south of 2783, and lay LDH hose, which is our water supply, 5-inch water supply, pump water up to it, to the pickup truck, and use a water thief, a manifold, to distribute the water. Something to keep in mind, I don't want to get too technical, bore you even more. I can only push so much water so far in a 5-inch hose. That's why water mains are 8-inch to 12-inch. They're the minimum size 8-inch. You can only flow so much water. The farther I flow, the gallon per minute drops down and plummets. So this is our contingency plan to deliver water across that area, 2783 Lakeshore Drive.
Can Eric, excuse me, can Eric bring that up, overhead of what we're talking about, the area?
Is it where the mushroom house was? Where the washout was, and the newspaper people went up?
Yeah.
This is north of that.
North of that?
And can you refresh or tell us what the resistance is to the alternate route that was suggested?
I want to assure members of the audience, I don't say this, I've been working on this every day. It interrupted my second vacation of the year. I've had 8 days off in 11 months. 3.5 days I spent on this. I'm lucky I still have a wife. It's documented, it's all in writing, Griffin knows what I'm talking about, my staff knows what I'm talking about, Brenda knows what I'm talking about. The problem is, no one will step forward to let us connect, and I say that respectfully. So far, no one has allowed us to connect from Maisie Lane, and I know that's a private road, but really, I've heard that. No one will allow us to connect from Maisie Lane to Lake Shore Drive. I understand no one wants them on their property. A lot of people drop the ball on this. But when I'm up against the wall where no one will let us transverse on their property, and we're trying to figure this out. You know, we worked on it Saturday, we worked on it Sunday. Friday, we spent 4 hours out there looking at 4
I hate
options.
to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
Scott and I worked on this with John Block.
I worked on it in
This is
2003,
nothing
2008, 2014 under Roy McElwain. And the problem we run into is it's all private property. This morning, I had a conversation with Craig Atwood on another idea. So we are working on it, but here's my roadblock. I can't get anybody who wants people to drive through their property, understandably, but I'm kind of landlocked.
When you say drive-through, on their driveways or on their grass? I'm confused. When they want to save lives, and it's like the chance of you even having to do it is rare, but what drive-through?
So
what is
basically what it is,
backyard?
Kathy, I'd probably lean on
I'm
my phone.
confused about what that means.
Well, we'd have to pull something up. You'd have to pull up Maisie Lane. Basically what it is, if we come off a private road, we have to drive through somebody's,
There
through
you
a
go.
private road. Okay, let me get up here.
There's the original washout number 1.
Again, this is just one of the options. We're looking at many different
Got it.
things, but there aren't a whole lot of options. Basically, coming in this way,
Okay.
a connection route from here. This is private. It's narrower. It's not a public road per se, but we thought for a short-term solution, which is all we're talking about right now, short-term solution, well, unfortunately, you gotta drive across somebody's driveway. Who wants the public driving through here? So it was to be an emergency road. And what was really important with Craig Atwood and myself and my command staff is, we can come up this way. If we lose something, we can at least come in this way, particularly with these houses up here. Because to get here, we have to go south to come north.
Okay, I got that. So who's they're afraid of through traffic if you do this?
Well, we're going
And
through
if
their
so, why
their
can't we
driveway.
do a little, like we do on homes that you can't get to, those lockbox things, and other ways of saying no pass through, and only you guys have the key or
Well,
something?
one of the things I was assigned to do with my command staff Friday was reach out to one of the property owners that I'm not going to name to see about doing 6 feet on his property and 6 feet on the northern property, so they have that with a written agreement. It gets reinstated with a 2-year sunset. And understandably, it was not a warm reception because he's been through this already. They've been through that already. But we're running out of options to connect here. You know, building a road here, somebody owns all this property. So the problem is you don't have the options of just taking over something.
No, I understand, but if it...
Well,
One
you
time
do, but
there's
it's a
a
legal
fire,
battle.
nobody uses
So
that
first
road,
of all-
maybe they
Eminent
could...
domain, but
What I would
that'll
suggest...
probably take
First
20
of all,
years.
Craig, who's Craig Atwood, just so people understand?
Sorry, Craig Atwood is the director of the Allegan County Road Commission, and has been very profound at trying to solve things, and he and the emergency management director asked us to talk to one of the property owners on Friday, and we did, there were 6 of us out there. And understandably, there were apprehensions about this. I said, how about the county puts in gates? The property owners have a remote control. Only those property owners can use that gated deal. And it didn't go over. And there's problems with everything. People are going to have to compromise if you want this to happen. Because right now, we have nothing. We have nothing. And we're working on an option E here where it's the right-of-way, and Craig Atwood has real apprehensions about that, because we basically we take whatever's in the right-of-way, we're going right through here. but we can't connect in here because this is washed out. Does that make any sense?
Yep.
So,
That helps.
And I think the people, the homeowners there, if you put up a gate, guess what you're gonna get? You're gonna get pedestrians and bikes going through there.
that's what's happened. People
That's
are
what's
going
already
to the
happening.
So they
website.
wanna keep it, yeah.
So is this the old washout or the new washout?
The old washout, 1986 washout is right here,
Okay.
There is no
Where's
new
the new
wash.
one?
down here,
Well, nothing's washed out yet.
Well, I mean,
but
where it's
Yeah.
close to the road.
where the road is suspect.
Right.
Well, where the newspaper.
Can you zoom in on that?
That was north of that, this is north of where they went in.
North, yes.
Where's like Lake Shore Motel? Can you?
That's it, that's on the other side of the washout.
That's over there.
I'm trying to get this.
So here you see
The first
2783.
washout is right where the Tolsma property is.
This is,
Dead
this
end
is
there.
where we are actually driving on, we aren't even driving on pavement down there. My wife and I were down there Sunday surveying that, and I videotaped it. We're actually not even driving on the asphalt anymore. It's actually on the right-of-way, part of the right-of-way that was created. You can go further east. And that's what probably what should be considered is, my command staff and I feel we need to go further to the right-of-way so that we have something in case we lose this. I got a text from the county, from the sheriff Wednesday, from a drone. Griffin got it, I got it, or maybe you, Craig Atwood got it, and I got it. It's gotten even worse. So, you know, we've been really diligent on this, and we're kind of running up the roadblocks. And, you know, frankly, kind of the county and the township and people have had 33 years to deal with this. And the fire department, under Chief Block, he and I had this all mapped out along the easement under the utility tower.
Utility, yep.
We had it all set up.
Is that what that is
Consumers
on the
Power.
right? The
No,
easement there?
Consumers Power is somewhere here, I think it is. Well, no, I'm sorry, it's over here.
Yeah, that, okay.
And we had that, and we worked on that, and then we did revisit it again in 2014 with Roy McElwain. The problem is, people have built across the utility easement, and no one wants to sit there and drive over their, you know, their stuff, understandably. What our hurdle is, until we have some sort of private connectivity between Maisie or the parcels 03501, we still have to go through two property owners' parcels to get to Lake Shore Drive. Now, this is just a short-term plan. There's a long-term plan, which is not what we're addressing right now.
How many homes about are doing that?
The affected homes, we counted 14 homes. It's about 1,800 feet to run up to 2839, I think it is. 2835.
I think from the board's perspective, it's to your credit that all this has been done. I mean, it's a matter of priority. And I guess at one level, I can understand private property owners and all those issues. On the other hand, when one of those houses gets lit up, there are going to be lawyers moving in every direction. So all of this work on your behalf and your team's behalf is appropriate, and I'd encourage it. I mean, obviously it's frustrating, but sooner or later,
Something's gonna happen.
something's going to happen, and all of a sudden you're going to have 100% majority of those people saying, I don't care, drive it across my front lawn, but get me water.
Why hasn't somebody done something about it?
Right, and absolutely. Why
That's
wasn't
what we're
anybody
trying
paying
to-
attention?
We're trying to eliminate all options and get to something where it's usable, where we can satisfy most people. The road is going to go. We've got the warnings, it's going to go. And I don't know what it's going to take for somebody to give up something. I guess if the road's totally gone, then everyone's going to be looking at each other. I'm comfortable, we've done everything we can.
Then we'll just throw standpipes in, because the water's gonna be so close.
Yeah. We pretty much, the command staff has pretty much
Pretty steep
exhausted
bank to
everything
go
they
up.
can.
Okay, so whose responsibility is this? Is this the Allegan County Road Commission? Is it doesn't sound like it's our responsibility. I mean,
It's not
There's
our...
the first
it's-
washout right
Oh,
there.
okay, yeah.
That's Tallsma's property right there.
Is that his house that's right there in the?
Yeah, with the swimming pool.
In the road right away?
Yeah, yeah.
And see, one of the things is we thought is, what about a 12-foot road right through here?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do,
Do what? What's
a 12-foot road
Oh, okay.
here.
In front of the house?
Right,
That's
well, the
gonna-
house is back there.
That's
right
gonna
here.
go over like a lead balloon.
This is right away.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Those nice viewing areas.
Well, the county has no problem, they're gonna move anything in the right of way.
I mean, what's wrong with that lane behind it that we talked about 50
Well,
years
there's some of the
ago?
members of the audience, we've been threatened that we're gonna get sued. And it happened again Friday,
For going back there?
for using Maisie Lane.
Oh.
We've been threatened.
okay, so we've done all we can do, so you send a
Right.
letter and...
Because it's a private road,
I guess
we
you
can't
wait.
use it, so we don't worry about the suits so much. We're just trying to do what's
There's
best
the
for
second
all the
washout,
people.
right?
Yeah, this gives a very profound look at this,
That's close.
Right there.
and I'm not sure if everyone even
Right
understands.
there, right?
When they got this, they had identified 8 to 10 more suspect areas,
Oh, yeah.
and they're all marked by the township engineer in this area. So, understandably, I understand the whole resident's perspective and viewpoint, but I don't know what we can do if somebody doesn't give something up. And that's temporary, it's gotta be in writing, there's gotta be a sunset, they've gotta reinstate the road, put a certain size tree back in, remove the gravel, whatever it takes. The one address, 2829, that was for sale,
No, that's my house.
that's your house?
I think it's 2825.
2825.
2825 had a real clean shot in the back to Maisie Lane. And that one, look at, here's where this is failing. So now we're driving on this.
Did someone actually
Wasn't there-
pave that for you?
No,
It
it's
was-
crushed asphalt.
Because
Okay.
there's a hole, right?
And the problem is, there's a manhole here, and if we hit that drain, that manhole with the tandems of the tanker, we're probably gonna collapse it and drop the axle in the manhole. So I had to forbid tankers from going across here, which means you can't truck water up here. I need about 7 to 8 tankers an hour to fight a house fire.
What's that white thing on the bottom there?
Piece of
that-
water main.
Piece of tile.
This is a concrete clean out, a manhole, concrete, that was part of the drain that came off right here.
Oh.
The drains go down, and this,
I mean, I guess, I understand, if I lived out there, I would have a hard time letting people go through my front yard too. I get that, and I can't speak for the board, I feel your pain, but we have to do something, and we've been talking about this for forever. And it's just even if it's like Craig said, a temporary way to get back there.
this was strictly temporary with 2-year in writing, because even one of the property owners had a bad experience. He had promises by the county road commission, not the county, the road commission, and they defaulted. He feels they defaulted on a lot of that. Plus, you know, the traffic that was migrating on his property. And, you know, you can't blame them, these people in a way. I can't stop, I don't know how I'm gonna stop people from walking there. I can't help that. You gotta make a choice.
It's when you get a big dog.
Do you want a road, I guess it's just, do we want a road here, or wait till it falls down?
Well, at some point, you're not gonna be able to get an ambulance back there.
Oh,
I mean, you can not worry about your house, you got insurance, whatever, but if you can't get an ambulance back there, you're in trouble.
Well, it sounds like we're close to that. I don't know what else we could possibly do. I think we need to send this letter to the homeowners, warn them, and...
I did turn it off.
Oh, sure.
$10 a person. Draw the card. Happy hour, here we come.
In the minutes. So I realize the sensitivity of this, however, I have to filter that sensitivity out and do what's best for the people. People get pissed off at us, I can't help that. This road is gonna go.
And we can't have...
And I've been working on this for 13 years. And all you get is, I want it, but I don't want it by my house. And that's a bit unnerving when you have the county and Griffin and the township expecting me to figure this out. When I'm up against the wall where I'm gonna get sued for using a private road on somebody's lawn. I know what these guys are gonna do. You know, they're gonna drive right across somebody's lawn. And you know what's gonna happen? Truck's gonna bury.
You're gonna get stuck.
The truck's out of service.
What they
That's why-
need to do out there is
I
put a
forbid it.
road behind all the houses.
Yeah.
No, that's the,
And there's a long-range
Yeah.
plan back,
Yeah.
further on back there. But boy, there's a lot of history here and a lot of, you know, imminent need, however, no commitment. And the road commission has been receptive to this, even building a drive on private property with county funds. And I think they should, frankly. I think they should be doing it.
When
So-
would they ever just say they're closing that road down? That'd be the county,
There's-
right?
there's
I
talk-
mean, are we
there's-
getting kind of close to that, or is that?
I don't know what they have, what about, what are we gonna do with these people?
I mean, I worry about the UPS guy and the Amazon guy and the
No.
garbage trucks and everything going on there.
No truck should be going across
I don't
this.
think so
And I have that in my letter,
Okay.
okay? And I've asked for that twice. And even the garbage trucks, what do we have, 3 or 4 residents up here? I volunteered my staff to go get their garbage cans and bring them down here once a week. And then when they empty the garbage cans, we'll take them back up there.
I don't
Nothing-
think-
No, that's the homeowners.
I was gonna say, that's not our job.
But that
To
just
do
shows you,
that.
we're trying to make this work. But all you get is excuses not to do it. And we're running out of options, and we're running out of time, because the road is gonna go.
I guess as a fire board, that we've been addressing this, you and I, and we've been addressing this forever. All we can do is listen to what you, the expert, say, and pass it along to the county, and let them make the decisions. They should be working with the homeowners. The homeowners, I mean, they'll probably speak here, and we'll listen, and that's great. I think it's great that they showed. But there's nothing a fire department can do. And if our chief says he's not gonna bring a truck down that road because it's dangerous, I know as a board member, I'm gonna support him. I don't know about the rest of them, but
that's gonna affect their insurance rates.
I don't wanna see $1 million ladder truck falling down that hill.
Neither, with
people in it.
Well, I'm not gonna explain to John Miles' fiance and wife that I sent a truck down here to save a house.
Right. Well, I guess that's where I'm going. As board members, you tell us, you're the expert, what you can and can't do. And I'm sorry, but I think this goes right back, here you go township, and here you go county. You work with the homeowners, tell us what you want us to do. But this is what we can do, and this is what we can't do, period.
And then leave it to them.
Leave it to them.
It's not our problem.
No, it's not.
If they wanna go after some eminent domain on Maisie Lane, that's the county's buck, not the fire department's buck.
Okay, any other questions, any more discussion? So, I need a motion to send out this letter to the homeowners.
I'll make a motion to send this letter to the homeowners at Lake Shore.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion by Phelps and a second by Beckman to send this letter to the homeowners ASAP.
We make sure that the letter copies to the fire board, so that,
Yeah.
so that
I was
they know
gonna
it's not,
copy the township and the road commission.
yes, and the fire board, so they know that this is not a unilateral, one
Yeah,
guy
this
kind
isn't
of
just
deal.
you, this is the board.
Road Commission, County, and Township?
Okay, and fire board.
Yes.
Got it.
All right. Any more discussion?
That was enough.
All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. ECHO protocol.
I'm gonna refer to Chris Mingles.
So essentially what this came out of was a Fire Chiefs Association meeting almost a year and a half ago. There was a 2-year-old, I believe in Hopkins, that drowned, and there was a firefighter from a different agency about 3 or 4 blocks away working for a landscape company, but because of the way the county split and dispatches on 2 separate frequencies, they didn't know about it. And as well as they didn't have the legal permission to be able to actually respond to the call, even though they would have anyway and done it. So we worked with the Allegan Medical Control and drafted an ECHO protocol, which basically means for any ECHO level call, which is someone basically not breathing and needed CPR, that now there is a mutual aid agreement that allows any responder from any agency to respond anywhere in the county, even if they're going to be there before the actual agency whose call it actually is. So, for example, someone from Otsego could be having dinner at the Butler and could start CPR prior to us even arriving, and that's totally okay. And so it took a little while to go through the hoops and finally got it approved through the State of Michigan Bureau of EMS. But we do finally have an ECHO protocol that allows for that mutual aid. So it was a lot of jumping, but we made it. So.
But here's the ridiculous thing, if someone's eating at Goog's, you can't save them, because they're in Ottawa County?
Now that we're outside of our jurisdiction, then it falls under the Good Samaritan Act. But
Okay.
because we were in our county, then it's...
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, all done with that?
This would be as we go downstairs, and we can't do the comments.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, take a
We
roll.
Can we get that out of the way?
Um,
Why don't you
Why don't we change this around a little bit? I didn't recognize this when we were doing the agenda, but we're gonna go downstairs for a dedication, and then we're coming back up for a closed session, I believe,
Yes, ma'am.
for Greg's evaluation. So, why don't we do public comment right now, if that's all right with the board?
I think we should. We don't want to keep these people here all night.
Sure.
All right, so I'll read the correspondence that came in after we had created the draft agenda. Dear Chief Janik and Mr. Graham, after reading the commercial record article concerning rising lake levels, I am even more concerned about the safety of my wife and I and the other Saugatuck Township homeowners on the homes south of the 1986 washout. The commercial record reports that the road commission narrowed the road in front of 2783 Lake Shore due to a lake rising. The record goes on to discuss the need for road and utility access to dwellings. I hope this includes a fire lane to provide a second means of emergency access south of the washout. My last correspondence concerned a downed tree making Lake Shore temporarily impassable. The rising lake levels and the history of more than one washout in the area makes the lake levels another threat to the safety of the homeowners. I am hopeful that a fire lane will be addressed in the incident action plan. Respectfully, Emmett McGuire.
Okay. Now I'll take public comment from anybody in the audience who wishes to comment.
I wasn't planning on making any comments in this meeting.
Please identify yourself.
My name is Robert Flute. I live at 2829 Lake Shore Drive. I live in the house where the chief would like to put the road through my yard. I was also owner of the house when he came through in what year was that? When 11? Put it through last time?
It's 2010.
2010. 2010, my wife and I were not living there full-time, living in Chicago. I received a call at 9 o'clock in the morning from a township supervisor that informed me that there was a terrible incident down the road, and they needed to access through, and they came through my yard to get access from the north. This was 3 hours that he contacted me after they had done it. They took out 6 trees, they bulldozed through my backyard, they bulldozed alongside of my garage, and then they came in at some point and put in bark chips from Maisie Lane all the way through until, across my lawn, until it connected to my driveway in front. And then went from my driveway down to the gate and out to where the easement for Lakeshore Drive pretty much starts. All of that said and done, as the chief had mentioned, they promised to refurbish everything and restate it. Nothing happened. They put up a cable between 2 trees in back, put a fire department padlock on it, and the county put up a sign that said no trespassing beyond this point or something like that. That was it. They didn't put a fence in, they didn't put a gate in, they didn't take out the bark chips, they didn't do anything except clean up the bark chips and a portion of my front lawn. I said, thanks a lot, see ya. Now, because you went through there once before, it's the easy way through. I'm surprised that you came up with the idea of 6 foot off on my property and 6 foot off on the property to the north. That encompasses probably removing 40 or 50 trees in order to do that. If you stayed on my property, you probably wouldn't have to take out more than 3 or 4 pine trees that I planted and some shrubs. That's an easy way through for you, it's a cheap way through for you, and that's why it's being looked at. You're coming down Maisie Lane, which is not a road, it's not a private road, it's a driveway for 4 residences that's limited to 4 residents by the county based on its construction techniques and stuff, that it doesn't have a road base probably to support your tanker truck either. Coming through my yard, supporting the tanker truck, what you would have to do with the gravel road base in there, probably 8 inches at least, maybe more, with limestone and then crushed gravel or whatever, to support your truck. You're building a 12-foot wide road, 12-foot wide gravel road. This is not something driving across my lawn, as you mentioned. You couldn't take a tanker across my lawn, it'd be up to his axle about 3 feet into it. It takes no consideration for anything in terms of my property. It's connecting to a driveway, which, as I noted to you on the sign that was out there, says private driveway. It doesn't say private road, it's a private driveway. And we have an easement from the county back from 1986 to use that to access our properties. It's a private easement from the county. So the county is not even maintaining it as a roadway. The roadway starts, ends around 2805, just before the cul-de-sac at the end of the road. Beyond that, everybody thinks that that Lakeshore Drive went through our front yards. It did, but it's gone. Nobody goes out there, none of it's been surveyed, nobody knows where the road really was. Everybody thinks it went straight, and it didn't. It curved out into the lake, and it's gone. You don't have a road bed out there. You got a right-of-way through the front of my yard of about 6 feet. That's it, and then it goes down 70 feet. There's a lot of misconceptions about what's been going on. I heard somebody mention in this meeting today that the Tallsman swimming pool is in the right-of-way. It is not. It is not by any means. Do you think they're stupid enough to build a swimming pool in a right-of-way? It's things like this. Nobody even knows where that was, and nobody's out there looking to find out where it is. Do they have any basis for some of the statements that are being made, are being printed, being documented in reports? They're not correct. 33 years to come to a solution on this.
What would you
33 years,
propose
and
as a
nothing's been
solution?
done. The last report that I saw was 2008 that was done. And it had 8 options for rebuilding Lakeshore Drive. Number 1 was do nothing, and the last one was to completely replace Lakeshore Drive somewhere behind us along the property line primarily that is about a quarter of a mile into the woods, about halfway to the freeway. You've gotten to point 1 in 33 years. You've done nothing. The only time it comes up is when something like this happens. Why isn't Allegan County rebuilding that road through the front yards of those houses that are down there on a temporary basis? They can move it back. Why are we all of a sudden looking at having to come through my yard, come down Maisie Lane through 4 properties from a private road, which is owned by an association, coming across another piece of property between mine and Maisie Lane that's 3 foot wide, owned by somebody, through my yard, across the backyard, across my front yard, out my gate, and then across 2 more properties in order to get to the point where Lakeshore Drive is a cul-de-sac. You've had a lot of time to think about this. I think about what 2 years, it's a 2-year minimum. If I wanted to sell my house in the next 2 years, that would cost me about $250,000 if I could sell it at all. At absolutely no compensation or no regard of anybody about what that does to what people own. There's other places in the county or in the township that have similar situations. The chief told me that he actually lives in one of them. I was talking to him, I used the example. I said the area that comes off from 62nd, that comes off of Old Allegan Road, 62nd Street, that goes back in along the river. I said, there's no way out of there either once you turn onto 62nd Street. All those houses are back there. And he said, yes, I know, I live back there.
So what?
And he told me there were 240 some houses back there. It's kind of like, why this? Why this? It seems like a long way to go to reestablish something that's been talked about and salivated over for a long time because it's an easy solution to do something at literally no cost to the township. All the cost is on the homeowners, long-term and short-term. That's why we don't like it. It's not people coming through our yards, walking through and wanting to go up Lakeshore Drive on their bicycle. You'll find if you go out there, they go through a lot of people's yards because we let them go through. But it's the fact that you lose total control over that. That road, that 2-year road will be there forever because it's still there from the last time in everybody's minds. And they never asked. Never asked.
I understand your pain.
We're all over the negotiations, but
I
it's
think
just,
you're
it's
in
just,
the wrong place. I mean, I don't think this board can help you.
well, yes, you can, because the chief is the one that's going through my yard.
Well,
Pure and simple.
we stopped, we're done.
We actually, for the record, just so you're aware, we actually made a recommendation for another option that does what you said precisely, was widen the road that's there and take it to the right-of-way. We asked for immediate survey, all the way, to find out where the road is.
The only one you talked about was saying taking 6 feet off of my yard and 6 feet off of the other people.
No, well, we have 4 options, we have 5.
That's not a good option.
Well,
that's gonna cost you some money, and we're not gonna do it overnight.
Okay.
We have 5 options that we looked at. I just shared the one with you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. And,
Well, thank you, and I
and
appreciate
there's
it.
no, I'm sorry, there's nothing this board can do to help you. You need to go to the road commission and into the township.
I need to go to no one.
Well, that too.
Look, I'm the homeowner, I live.
Right, you're
I
absolutely
didn't create the
right.
washout on the lake.
Right.
I didn't put a draining system in that couldn't handle what it should have been able to handle. You know, I didn't direct the repairs on that road twice in the last month.
And I
Which
understand.
are not the best, as even the chief will say, you can't drive his truck through there. So, you know, it's frustrating.
Yes.
It's very frustrating. And, you know, I could say, yes, drive through there. But I didn't buy that house, and I haven't owned it for 20 years to take my entire investment and just blow it away. Because there are other options. All the other options will most likely cost the township some money or the county some money, and it's about time they spent some of it. I'm serious. I mean, this isn't something to fool around with. 33 years of doing nothing. And I'm not going to bail you out. I mean, how could you expect me to bail you out? It's just the start of it. If a roadway is put in there, controlling it's going to be something more than a gate. You know, I don't know how you could control it with a gate. People, as soon as it's in there, it's automatically thought of because it's used by a municipality, regardless of the ownership of it. That they, you know, they're just using it on private land. No one respects private property anymore, and so it's deemed public. And then, you know, you might as well just hope your house burns down because maybe the insurance would pay for it. Because after that, it's going to be worthless to you.
I don't want you to think that we're being callous about it or anything. Someone said something about a roadway through, and I was joking with a small. I don't know anything about that.
See, that's the thing. You should go out there.
But I have been. But what I'm telling you is, as a fire board, there's not a lot we can do except listen to our chief and support some of his ideas. But I think it lays, and I'm a township president, in the township, if you're in Saugatuck Township, and the county. And I agree with you. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think this board's gonna do anything.
This board has no authority
Right.
over the physical infrastructure of those roads, period.
You have more authority than I do.
We have none, so then you have less than none. I can't help that.
I believe
That's
I have
reality.
none.
The township and the county road commission have responsibility at some level for that infrastructure, if anybody does.
Then they should fix the road.
And that's where you gotta show up and
Fix the road.
Call the governor,
Give them
fix
help.
the damn roads.
call, the TV channels, whoever you can call.
I think the best thing is what the chief said, that the truck couldn't make it through what the county provided as a roadway. I mean,
Okay,
that enough right there should.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're sorry, we can't do anything for you,
I know.
and we're sorry if you were maligned, but
Yeah, I wasn't trying to.
I wasn't,
I appreciated hearing.
I
your
appreciate your
story.
comments,
I didn't
so.
understand the whole thing when that, and I appreciated hearing it.
It's great to hear somebody who has experienced this.
Yeah,
All right.
because two of the board members were around when they did go through your yard. And I'll tell you this, as a board member on the board then,
Mhm.
I didn't know what they did.
I didn't either. That's
We don't
something
know
that-
what they did.
That's something the chief did at that
That
time.
was the township did.
okay, we need to move on,
Yeah.
so,
Better
thank
get
you
the
Thank
next
you
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
You'll
Thanks,
see
Bob.
me again.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Hi, I'm Dan Keller, live at 2809 Lakeshore Drive. I'm at the cul-de-sac that was just referred to. And I would tell you, the homeowners are open to real ideas for real long-term solution. There are real ideas that have been on the table for years, and they've been ignored by everyone. Every time the water goes down, it becomes no pressure. Water comes up, everybody gets excited again. There are real solutions out there that the homeowners will buy into. In 2017, this came up when the chief was pushing to have a quicker way to get around instead of coming right through and having non-motorized access. The township engineer, the fire chief, and homeowners were all involved in working on potential solutions. There were potential solutions developed with trading off private roads for public roads on Old Owl, making Old Owl public instead of private, in exchange for a developer allowing access to properties that are just now being developed on the east. Going east on Old Owl, there's new properties out there. there's a quarter mile back from every property south of Maisie Lane. All of our properties go back a quarter mile into the woods. There's a consistent line along there. I can say with some confidence that the homeowners along there would all be willing to have an easement or road, pathway, whatever you want to call it, along the back of our properties. That's not going to cost anything. Coming through our backyard, which has been suggested, there has been a suggestion of using an overhead utility easement, which goes immediately in my backyard. There's been suggestion of using a drainage easement, which is immediately adjacent to my garage, as potential ways to run a road off Maisie Lane are totally, totally unacceptable. And whoever decides that they're going to try to do that will have a significant fight in their hands. And I know you guys are not controlling it, I understand that. On the other hand, the fire chief has been walking through our yards almost daily, and I give you credit that you're out there going almost daily through our yards, coming up with ideas that are not being shared with the homeowners. And the homeowners can actually contribute to the process. There's a meeting tomorrow at 10:30 with a committee that was formed by the township to focus on short-term solutions and long-term solutions. And the concern from the homeowners, and you just heard it, the short-term solution will become the long-term solution. And we cannot stand for an unacceptable short-term solution because we'll never get out of it. And this poor gentleman is being asked to do it again. We're not happy with this situation. The county needs to fix the damn road. And you guys can put pressure on the county to fix the road more than we can individually. So, thank you for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Anybody else care to comment? Okay, then we will move on to 12F, and there's a special dedication downstairs.
This involves us going downstairs. We'll just go downstairs and we'll see.
We're coming back.
Yeah, come back.
We got a lot more to
Yeah.
Thank you.
What are we doing? Apply for the loan.
Right back here, I'm not sure why.
Oh, there is?
The other door, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I mean, it's just, you gotta stop in.
Well, pretty good day, you know, it's really touch and go, I'll tell you, you know. Weekend, I didn't know what was happening. Yeah,
Get there, hey.
I got to come back.
Try to call the
Well,
county or call whoever.
okay, you want to, is it at 10:30? Can I go, or?
How do I?
I guess that's.
If you ever need a drug, you know.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Oh, we got drugs like you wouldn't believe.
Not only that, but when she does look your arm off, all 911.
You need another hand on the other side there, or you just, oh, it's got a gang.
Then you won't get the fire truck coming up and down.
Okay.
But,
A lot of money.
yeah, because when like the alarm fireman is right, and you tell them it's all right.
Pardon me?
It takes them like 10 to 20 minutes to even call our dispatch. Hey, it's not. Yeah, just call 911, like, turn through or something like that.
Well, thank you so much.
That'll save a lot of headaches.
Yes, it will.
So, yeah, but I don't know, we go out there quite a bit for, to a couple locations out there for fire alarms all the time, and do the burn food too, so, you're not the only one.
No, I know that, but we, we'll try to call, and, we're trying to call, they're trying to call.
Yeah.
The lines, it just.
Yeah, but like I said, the fastest way to get us canceled is to actually call 911.
I will do that. Tell her to do that.
Yeah, because most people think it's instantaneous, and so by the time you set the alarm off,
to the time we even get dispatch is probably 6 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and
A little warmer up here.
Yeah?
Well, usually red hot, but it's cold.
I went there Friday with the staff and I got, for 40 minutes, I got grilled
I bet.
for that. And I'm like, oh, I don't blame you for being upset. I did not know.
I just said to him, we didn't know that after they used that,
No.
they did such a half-ass job with cleaning up and...
That's what I thought.
It was, I believe, the responsibility was the township, was the road commission.
Yeah, everything changed there. When I was a kid, on the boat, you'd see wooden pipes coming out the banks. It was all peach orchards.
Right.
And it was all drained. They put the expressway in, and changed the whole water flow out there. So a lot of that stuff is coming from shore, from the land side, and taken.
I would be frustrated too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those people. I mean, I didn't mean to...
But that's not our job.
Yeah, exactly. Did you get invited to that meeting tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, matter of fact, the people that are running the meeting is Craig Atwood and me.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing the township can do.
It's up to the county.
So,
As the county voted again, was one vote.
Yeah, then don't mean to be a smartass about it all, but like you said, it's not our job. We can't do anything about it.
Have a message to deliver to Aaron and Scott from Aaron, the other Aaron, that you need to get your portraits done. She told me to deliver the message.
Need to
Was
do
she gonna
what?
take them now?
I don't think so, she just said, get with her and.
You guys didn't come Sunday like you were supposed to?
I was in Ann Arbor.
Oh, good, that was a fun day,
Is she
wasn't it?
doing
For the weekend.
I mean, I could do it, I didn't get mine either. I had a car appointment and I barely got this the minute I walked out the
I'm
door. Can we
sorry.
have like 3 minutes or
Yeah,
4 to
go
at least
ahead.
look at it?
I printed it up at home.
I printed it, but I haven't had time to look at it.
Do you have 2 copies?
I'm gonna run
Yeah, I do.
across and-
Here, take one, I printed mine, I printed one.
Thank you. I probably have another copy.
Got a meeting tonight too, don't you?
And it's workshop at 6, but I already told them we were gonna be late. So we're missing our workshop.
Sorry.
That's okay. I said, I thought this meeting would be a long one, so I told Rich we'll probably be late.
Sworn in again?
I have to get sworn in.
Again? Yeah. Congratulations, I think.
Thanks.
You never know.
You never know. No, I'm.
As cold as I was Saturday at the game.
Oh, it was,
It's cold
We went to the match.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
went
there's
to the
reason
weekend.
in here. What's
Yeah,
going
my
on?
son was
We
there.
watched about a quarter of it.
I watched
Couldn't
it.
stand it anymore.
I watched every single second.
I bet you did. I can see why.
It's been
Vicky.
too long.
Travesty.
Vicky was ready to leave by the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I was gonna, she's got,
She's a
she's
state fan.
but yeah, I was gonna say that whole white family.
Well, it was hard to watch.
Did you see Courtney there? She was there.
Oh,
Courtney and
yeah,
Bud?
sure, there's only
Oh,
112,000
you didn't see
people.
Courtney?
Yeah, we waved. Okay.
Well, it's funny you say that, but my son goes to school at Wayne State, went for the weekend, and he ran into all kinds of people.
I ran into quite a few people I know at Weber, we stayed at Weber's.
Oh, yeah,
I ran into
that's
quite
a
few people there, I
classic.
know. We had 22 in our group this year. The family thing has been going on since 1970.
Oh.
Do we need to officially go into closed session?
Yeah, somebody got, they asked me to keep track of the motions to go in. Any motions
I just
after
was
that.
waiting for everybody to get them. Okay, could I have a motion to go into closed session, please?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Beckman and a second by Miller to go into closed session, to evaluate the chief. I should have asked first, chief, if that's what you wanted.
Yes, please, for the record, closed session.
Okay, because that's the only way we can go into closed session is if you want. Okay, we have a motion to leave closed session and a second by Dan.
I have one comment out of closed session.
Okay, all those in
sorry.
favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed? Okay, we're in open session again?
Yes. I have a little announcement, can I, can I do it now or later?
You're pregnant? Oh.
I'm not. I don't think it'll be a surprise, but I am sad to announce that this is gonna be my last meeting. My appointment was actually up in June, but I stayed on, and Jane knew it. I talked to her back in June that I wasn't gonna continue, you know. But I stayed on until they found somebody else, and I've finally been told they may have located someone else to take my place. And so I've stayed an extra 5 months or something during this process.
Get trained.
And, yeah, I know. But anyway, you should have someone new by next time, and I just wanted to say, it's been my privilege to serve on this board. I'm getting kind of sad, but it seems like just yesterday I got on, and I really have learned so much. I've been on for 4 years, and But given that it's a 6-year commitment to re-up, and I do have desire to serve in other ways and do other things, and it's just time, I believe, it's time for someone new. Re-upping just isn't an option. My personal circumstances with retirements with my husband and other reasons. So I've really tried hard to do my best for this department, to listen, to be impartial, and serve with integrity in this really important work. And I just wanted to say, please continue the good work of seeking excellence for the people we all serve, for our team, our Saugatuck STFD team and its leaders. I learned a great deal while serving on this board, and we'll miss some of the challenges. But I do feel we've accomplished a lot together as a team, and it's a hard thing, and I respect every single one of you on this board, and I've enjoyed serving with you. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kathy.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you. I may come back one day if they appoint me, you know, who knows down the line, but right now, it's just 6 years is a long time, and there's things, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask questions about the budget?
I thought the same thing. I don't remember.
That might be on my third tour of duty.
Yes, it is. Aaron, fire board comments?
No.
That's the end of your comments, Kathy?
Yeah, I did.
Scott?
Oh, I did want to say, thank Erin, but she's gone, and I guess that's it. But I did drive that Lake Shore 2 weeks ago with my family, and even in a car, it was a big, I was scared to death. We went all the way to the end for, you know, my kids, grandkids, and I said, never again, I'm not even coming down this road. That's all, that was just, it was really scary going down that road.
We weren't allowed to disclose the 4 options. That's why they didn't know about it.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't say that. We were forbidden from disclosing those.
From the county?
The county and the township asked us not to disclose it.
And that's gonna be discussed tomorrow or not?
Yeah, they're
yet?
meeting tomorrow.
They are not disclosing those 4 options tomorrow. Last meeting we had, we came up with a 5th one, so.
It's like driving down Dugout Road between the
Oh,
camp,
God, it's
the camp and up to the old,
First letter I wrote, no fire protection was that one.
that road is, I was scared.
Well, John had a letter to the insurance company that we couldn't provide fire protection. That's something
Were
that's
you
mapped out
with
with
us
these
when we
folks.
went out to Patos's
Yeah.
property?
Right.
And
When
you
we
go
went that
down
road
there,
in-
yeah.
Well, I think you're all nuts for driving on that road. I would drive down there.
I sent Jane
With my
a video, and she
grandkids.
goes, I wouldn't be driving on that, Vicky's in the truck, and I'm taking my...
Yeah, he's driving and taking
And Vicky
pictures.
goes, what the hell are you doing? Don't drive it, don't take me down this road again.
Stacy? Fire board comments? Any comments?
No.
No, thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it, Kathy.
We haven't had our
I really will miss you.
All right, Danny has a
I've got
comment?
one thing that somehow we'll need to attend to at some reasonable point, soon, hopefully. The issue of the fireboat street end lease in Saugatuck conceivably could be in a state at the end of the year where that could be bounced. There are a bunch of considerations. There are manifest reasons why that site is important. And between the fire board and the city of Saugatuck, if that's what the fire board thinks, that it's important, we need to provide either by letter or whatever, that view to the Saugatuck City Council and invite discussion on, you know, how it can best be made improved, whatever, whatever the hell it is. But we gotta get on board on that rather than wait until the end of the year when things could get.
Okay, but this is how it goes. I talked to Cindy again today.
We get it.
I'm
sorry, I worked.
It's okay.
Sorry, I didn't.
This is how it
shredded, it's an extra.
Okay.
Okay.
This is how it goes.
Yeah.
The planning commission will deal with their application for a restaurant and for all those other things. the planning commission has no jurisdiction over a street end lease. That's entirely up to the city council, and it will not be discussed until after the first of the year. Now, the planning commission can do whatever they want to do Thursday night, but it does not affect the fireboat in any way at this point. So, the fight will be over the street end lease. And they have applied for the lease.
The whole thing?
Yeah. So we will be discussing that, and...
That's why the fire board needs to say, here's why that spot is critical.
Yeah.
Or here's what you'll...
Or is it?
Or is it? Or here's what you'll give up, or here's what ought to be discussed. I don't know, I mean, somebody's gonna reach the decision. But in terms of how central it is, amount of money that it'd take,
Yeah.
one to do this option or that option, what other places might be available, are they available? That sort of stuff is not gonna happen in 6 weeks. I mean, it's just not. So that's gotta be presented to the city so that they know what they're dealing with when this,
Right.
when this balloon
And the-
goes up.
And the planning commission has no jurisdiction over that.
I'm on
Part
the
of
planning
it.
commission, and I'm gonna recuse myself from even the application.
I'm pretty
because
sure they won't let you, but,
They don't have any choice.
no, you have to have a reason to be
I will,
refused.
my reason is that as a sitting member of the fire board, with interest in some, which are gonna be potentially pivotal decisions related potentially to that application and attendant to that, if I vote on that, I'm gonna be accused by you-know-who of being biased in favor of the fire board. Arguably, I am. So, boom, I'm out.
That's
They
fair.
got 5 or 6 other
I guess
people.
my thing is, like, I've stayed out of this as much as I can, but should we be looking, and I said this before,
I know.
for Plan B? Is that the best place for us? I've
Well,
talked about the,
let's not get the cart before the horse.
yeah, but you have to have Plan B.
Well, exactly, but you don't know if you even need Plan B. at this
Maybe we want Plan B, and not say to hell with that.
Well, we
area.
talked about that, and that's gonna be a real expensive plan.
Not, this is where the board, or with your guys, needs to sit down and understand all aspects of that deal. Because it's not just go on a map, pick another spot, and we'll get that. There are a host, I mean, stuff I didn't even think, the 4-foot draft of the boats, so there are places that can't go. How proximate is it to upriver, with the houses in the
Or
township,
downriver,
or
or-
downriver, or under the bridge, and
Exactly.
all of this?
My original idea was to talk to the DeVos family about Behind the Mermaid.
Well, that'd be great, but what about the parking?
They have parking that you can pull in. It's
Yeah, the gate.
gated goes up, gated goes down, every fireman would know the gate, they would pull in. It's better than the street end down there in the summer.
Well, that's all things that need to be talked about, but,
I will get the guy's name, and I think we should reach out to him and just inquire.
Sure.
So there might be, we may need a slip. I know those slips are deep enough, I know they're wide enough. There's actually a restroom right there, a
One
shower.
reason we can talk about it is because, having experience at the yacht club of 24 years, you just don't move a 40-foot boat and find a slip. There are some
No.
people on the list for 4 years.
Oh, I know.
Plus, you're talking 4,000 to 5,000.
And how many times have you gone by the Mermaid, and all 8 of them are wide open all summer long?
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Just remember what they said, whenever they said it was
And
gonna
then
have
those
pizza.
3 over on the end. It
Certainly will.
We used to be on the other end.
so that planning commission application is a lot of fluff and a lot
Of
of
course.
Mackinac Island, we don't want Red Dock, that's just nonsense. So, planning commission doesn't deal with fluff and buff, so.
What's wrong with horses and horse shit and fudge? Makes a lot of money.
Too many of those things look alike.
So,
Smell different, but they look alike.
Yeah.
so, all right, I'm done, everybody done?
Thank you guys, thank you very much. Thank
Okay,
you.
we-
see you
we're
the